Hi friends, hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello and welcome to Glowmas. This is one of the last days. Oh my god, kind of sad. No, today's video is what I'm really excited about. And this is a collab with Amanda from Amandabb here on YouTube. I adore Amanda. I've talked about her a few times on my channel, but basically she's just like the smartest, funniest person on the planet. If you are interested in somebody who will just eloquently tell you everything you need to know about life, Amanda's your gal. I love her so much. I'm so happy I found her channel this year. And also something I will say, I think I put her in my 2020 superlatives video as my like beauty in the brains winner because she's not only gorgeous, but she's just so incredibly smart. And I said this in that video too, but if you're not following her on Twitter, you absolutely need to be because she is just a gift. She's amazing. When I thought of this video idea, I was like, wow, no better person than Amanda to do this with, which is basically things I don't have time for. Now, I know that Jenna Marbles, I think, kind of popularized this trend. My friend Nisa did this video a couple years ago and I copied her a couple years ago and did it, but I figured it was time for a part 2. And frankly, I don't think there's a better way to end this year than just talking about things I'm not bringing into 2021. Like things I just frankly don't have time for in the new year. So that is what I'm going to be doing today, and we're gonna be doing a get ready with me. Oh wow, I really crushed it with the bun today. So we're gonna be talking today about things I just frankly don't have time for. I don't care. I'm not bringing these things into 2021. It's kind of like an anti-New Year's resolution. Like it's not things I'm going to do, it's things I'm not going to do anymore, which again just feels very 2020 to me. So let's jump right into it. Okay. I'm gonna stop. The first thing I do not have time for going into 2021. I've decided that I no longer am going to be belittling my makeup ability to please other people. And here's what I mean by that. Oh my god, this is why I use a brush. For those of you that wonder why I use a primer brush, it's because my skin is so touch sensitive. Like the second I put any pressure on it at all, it turns beet red. And with the brush, it doesn't do that. Here's what I mean by that. I feel like for the past, I've been on YouTube now, this is my like 4th year we're going into. Oh my god. It's my 4th year we're going into. And I feel like on YouTube for the past 4 years, in order to make up for the fact that I'm not this like Instagram model makeup wearer, like I'm not creating these like insanely talented looks. I feel like to make up for that, because I'm not doing that, I've had to just so belittle my makeup abilities. Like I've had to be like, yeah, I'm not that good. I know I'm not that good. I constantly have to say that. Even in like my talktorials, which are meant to be like easy everyday makeup routines that people can follow, I've had to be like, no, I know guys, I'm not that good. And I'm just not gonna do that anymore. I'm not gonna make, I feel like you don't have to be Instagram model level of makeup good. You don't have to be makeup artist level good to be like good at makeup. I feel like the bar and almost the low-key like gatekeeping in the makeup community is so upsetting because first of all, I feel like by me constantly saying that, it makes other people who are at my skill level think that like they're not good. And it's like, I am good at makeup. Like, am I gonna be a professional makeup artist for frickin' Kylie Jenner? No. But am I good at applying makeup to my own face and like looking cute? Absolutely. I don't know why, and I see this with a lot of other beauty gurus who aren't like the most talented. They have to constantly preface everything they do by saying that. And I feel like it's because there's this expectation in the makeup community that like if you're a beauty channel, you are gonna be literally the best. You are gonna be able to do a triple cut crease in 20 minutes. Like that is the assumption. And I'm just so sick of like giving into that. I'm so sick of having to belittle my skill and my ability to like almost preemptively ward off hate comments about my skills and ability. You know what I mean? Especially considering I'll look back at like how I used to do my makeup like 2 years ago and I'll see the level of improvement that I've made in like the sense that I just feel like I've gotten so much better because when I first started my channel, I'd only been doing makeup for like a year. So I really wasn't that amazing. Like I definitely was not a pro at doing anything, but I really feel like in the past couple of years, I have gotten so much better, but but I'm still not at that like amazing level, so I keep having to belittle myself. So going forward, I'm just not gonna do that anymore. I'm not gonna belittle my abilities and like try to preemptively preface everything by being like, oh, I'm bad at things, just to appease people who expect perfection. I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm good at applying my makeup. I'm good enough at applying my makeup that a lot of people enjoy watching it, obviously. And honestly, I feel like, again, kind of going back to the gatekeeping thing, I feel like by me saying that, I'm literally telling people, like, if you're not an expert at makeup, you have no business creating a beauty channel, or you have to constantly preface that you're not that. And I just think that's stupid. We need people of all different skill levels in the beauty community. We can't just have the like James Charleses of the beauty communities who are amazing at all of these we need that too, but we can't just have that. Everybody who's doing makeup and starting off in makeup and who applies makeup is at a different skill level. Every single person is at a different skill level. We need people of all different skill levels to do tutorials, to review products, to tell you, because what might work for somebody who's a professional MUA might not work for you as just like an everyday makeup wearer. Just because I do my makeup differently in a different way doesn't mean I'm bad at it. So I'm not gonna continue to feed into this narrative that I'm bad at doing my makeup. I don't have time for it. I'm done with it. Feeding off of that, I have decided that I am no longer going to be diminishing my accomplishments in life to please other people. Here's what I mean by that. I feel like because I'm a woman, sometimes and this is just like our society, how we treat women, is I feel like we're not allowed to talk about our accomplishments or like talk about what we've achieved or be incredibly proud of what we've achieved or like brag. It seems like we're bragging. Like the amount of comments that I get when I talk about going to school that are like, you're just bragging. You're just bragging about having a degree. You just want to tell everybody that you're in college because you like to brag. And and it's like, if you talk about things that you're good at and you talk about things you've accomplished, people think you're saying that you're better than them. And I'm just not going to subscribe to that narrative anymore. I'm so sorry. For those of you that watched my makeup I'm glad I skipped video and then immediately commented and told me that kimchi was having a BOGO sale, thanks for that. I love them, by the way. And it's the same thing with my YouTube channel. I always feel like whenever there's like a positive with the YouTube channel or whatever, which by the way, I work incredibly hard at this channel and I should be allowed to say that. Like I should be allowed to be like, hey, I work super hard. It is dope when good things happen. I should be allowed to say that. For some reason, I always have this feeling and need to like diminish what I do and diminish the accomplishments that I've had in life. The same way I try to diminish my makeup skills because of like comments. It's almost like you're trying to preemptively stop negative comments before they happen. And I do this in real life too. It's not even just online. I read this really fascinating article a while back. I'll leave it down below, but it was basically just like how women never feel like they can say what they're proud of. They can never just talk about their achievements. They can never say positive things about themselves because it seems like you're bragging if you do. And I tweeted about it. I was like, tweet me something and say something about yourself that you're proud of, like that makes you proud of yourself. Tweet a positive thing about yourself because we always are told to never be positive towards ourselves, or it seems like we're being pretentious. The amount of tweets I got was staggering. I got like 1,000 replies of people just telling me all the things they were proud of about themselves, and it was such a beautiful thing. And it made me realize that I wasn't the only one who felt that way. Like I wasn't the only one who felt like I had to diminish my accomplishments and diminish the things I like about myself to make other people feel comfortable. And I was like, you know what? I'm done doing that. I'm not going to be ashamed of the things that I worked hard for. I'm not going to be ashamed of the positive things about myself. I'm going to say them. It's not pretentious to be proud of yourself. It's not pretentious to say nice things about yourself. I'm all for like self-deprecating humor. Like I quite literally use self-deprecating humor all of the time. So I'm all for it. But at the same time, I feel like sometimes I use self-deprecating humor as like a shield to not have to say nice things about myself. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that. Life is too, if anything 2020 has taught me, it's that life's way too short to not be loud and proud about the things that you've done in your life, no matter what it is. Getting a new job, you know, doing something nice for somebody, being able to like do your dishes. Like the amount of days I've had in 2020 where doing my dishes was like a peak accomplishment for me. Be proud of those things. Be proud of the small things, and you're not bragging just because you're talking about it. I do not know a lot of cis white men who are afraid of telling me about their accomplishments. So that should tell you all you need to know. Okay, this one's more personal to me, but I feel this. COVID permitting, I am getting married. I'm gonna use this palette. I have been loving, I'm gonna do a talktorial with this, my first talktorial back, but I also got the Sweet and Sticky palette, and I've been using this so much. It's such a cute little palette. So COVID permitting, I am getting married in 2021. I'm getting married in the summer of 2021, and I'm very hopeful that it's still gonna happen, just because now that we're rolling out the vaccine, it seems like there's actually a possibility of doing it in a safe way. Obviously, if we can't do it in a safe way, we're not going to. But regardless, I'm gonna be getting married in the next couple of years. Whether it's 2021 or 2022 or 2025, depending on how people are willing to get vaccinated, who knows. But I am getting married, and here's what I've decided. I have made the decision that I want to like film my wedding for my channel and post this whole video about it. I've decided that I want to film the whole process. I want to film the whole day. I want to do very like Sophia and Tyler-esque vlog of the day. And it's for a lot of reasons. Like, number one, I genuinely just love those types of videos. Like, I love watching them. So getting to be in one is awesome. Number two, I want to document the day so that Charles and I can like look back on it. And number three, I obviously can't invite all of you to my wedding. Because that would be a very large venue. But I'm so thankful to all of you, because I wouldn't be able to have the wedding that I'm having if it wasn't for you guys. And also, I know a lot of you love Charles and like love our relationship and support us. And I want to invite you to that day in like, you know, some capacity. So I'm making the decision to make my wedding more public. And what I have decided, because I already know that there's going to be some very mean people that are going to say some very mean things about my wedding, because for whatever reason, people love shaming other people's weddings. This isn't even specific to just mine. Like, there are whole Reddits and Facebook groups dedicated to just shaming petty shit about other people's weddings. And I have decided that I don't care. I know I'm saying this now and I might feel differently later, but I'm really, really going to try to not have time for wedding shamers. I will not. Like, I will not allow other people to dictate how I feel about my wedding. It's not happening. I understand people having different like opinions and different vibes, and like what might be amazing to me might be really tacky to you. Like, I understand that, but I don't need to hear about it. I don't need to see it. I don't need to see criticisms about my wedding. I don't need you to leave a nasty comment about my wedding. I don't need you to tell me that you think it's tacky, because obviously if I did it on my wedding, I loved it. So I don't need you to tell me anything about how much you don't like it. Normally with most videos that I post, I'm like, okay, everybody have your own opinions. My wedding, no way. I'm probably not even gonna read a lot of the comments, just because I don't want to deal with it. I don't have time for people making me feel bad about what is going to be the best day of my life. Like, I don't have time. I already have experienced it with my ring, and it made me so sad. And it like almost, I don't want to say it tainted my like engagement, because it didn't. Like, my engagement was amazing. I loved every second of it. I loved everything about how it happened. Like, I loved all of that. It was amazing. But people judging the way that like Charles proposed to me, or judging how we did the ring situation, or judging things like that, it just was so hurtful. Like, it was weirdly a very, I know that I choose to share things, and I know that that means people get to have opinions. But for some reason, like, people speculating about my engagement ring, for example, it just felt hurtful. It felt invasive. So honestly, when we were talking to the videographers that we picked, I was debating, I was like, maybe I shouldn't post this about this wedding, because I don't want people's opinions to like hurt my feelings. Because again, I know how weddings are. Everybody has an opinion. I was like, I don't want people's opinions to like hurt my feelings or taint anything about that day, because it's so special. And Charles was like, you know what? He was like, 99% of people are going to love seeing the day. He was like, they're going to love seeing it. They're going to love getting to see, like, experience it with us. Like, they're going to love seeing everything. And he was like, you can't let that 1% of people who are going to hate it dictate what you share, you know, online. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I don't have time for wedding shaming anymore. I don't care if you don't like my dress. I don't care if you don't like my hair. I don't care if you don't like the flowers that I choose. I've decided I don't care. I am posting my wedding so the people that want to see it can see it, and they can be a part of it in some small way. And that is what I'm doing. And I'm not going to pay any attention to people who are going to be rude about something as beautiful as a wedding. Honestly, that goes for people in my personal life too. If you have anything negative to say about my wedding, don't. I don't care. It's so weird to me. That's how I feel about, like, I made a whole video at the beginning of this year talking about makeup shaming and how I was just so sick of makeup shaming, like, just so over it. I made a whole video about it, and that's how I kind of feel about weddings too. It's like, why does it matter if somebody has a flower arrangement that you don't like? And why do you feel like you have to give an opinion on that? Like, why does it matter? Because it's obvious, again, this is my whole problem with makeup shaming too. It's obvious if that person chose that, that means that they love it. So why do you feel like you need to say something negative about it? It's not your wedding. You probably weren't even going. Why do you care? It's not hurting anybody. Your sole reason for even talking about it in the first place is to hurt the person who had a beautiful, wonderful day. No, don't have time for it. Won't do it. The next one, is COVID deniers. I don't have time. I don't have time for conspiracies. I'm not going to be be fighting with people online anymore that COVID is real. I'm not gonna do it. I spent a good portion of 2020, like, especially on Twitter, really just like fighting with people and being like, you guys are so annoying. Like, please stop denying that COVID's real. I don't have time for it anymore. If you don't think the deadly pandemic that's killed 300,000 Americans and over 1 million people in the world is real anymore, and you think it's all a hoax to get us microchipped, have fun with that thought process. Like, I'm done. I can't keep... The problem with it is, and what I always knew this, but I think what I've really come to terms with is, like, you are never going to change people who genuinely think that. You're never going to be able to change their opinion, especially if they're a stranger. Like, if they are your family and you're trying to explain it to them, sure. But if they're a stranger, they're never going to change their opinion because a stranger on the internet told them to. It's never going to happen. So I'm not gonna waste my time anymore. I'm just gonna get vaccinated and move on with my life and really hope that other people do too. I don't have time. I don't have time to fight with people who think we're just getting microchipped. I don't. Okay, the next thing I don't have time for is I don't have time for over-explaining my life. Yeah, I just don't have time for it. I don't have time for... I feel like because when influencers do social media, I feel like there is this unwritten expectation that, like, you're going to be the most open about every aspect of your life, right? So you try to be. You're like, okay, I'll be open, like, I'll talk about things, whatever. And then if you're not entirely 100% open about one aspect, it just leads to speculation and rumors. So a perfect example of this is I went to rehab when I was 19, and I'm an alcoholic, and I've been sober for years now, and I've never fully told that story or, like, gone into detail about it. I've never fully explained, like, what happened, how I got to that point in my life, how I recovered, what I do in my day-to-day life to keep up that recovery. I don't talk about it. And that story, I've noticed, has been twisted a trillion different ways. It's been twisted into every possible thing you could imagine. That story's been, it's been like, oh, she's not a real alcoholic. Everybody binge drinks at 19. Oh, she didn't actually go through anything. And, like, it's just, it's been twisted so many different ways. And it's so tempting for me to, like, get on camera and just tell the story and be like, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what happened. And, like, this is the truth. This is the tea. I'll tell you, I'll gladly tell you. It's so tempting for me to do that. But then I think about the reason I haven't told that story yet. And the reason I haven't told that story yet is because, frankly, I'm not ready. There is so much trauma and, like, pain around that time in my life and around that story that is not done. Like, I haven't dealt with it yet. I haven't fully dealt with the trauma and pain that occurred when all of that was going down. So telling that story to almost 300,000 people and telling that side of myself and exposing that side of myself without it being fully healed yet isn't something that I want to do. And it's frankly not something I should feel pressured to do just because some people want to twist what they think my life is based on the bits and pieces I've talked about on the internet. And that goes for a lot of things. I think as a person who does social media, it's hard because you have this constant, like, want to explain, because 90% of the bullshit people say about you online is explainable if you just, like, were to talk about it. But the thing is, I can't spend, and I won't spend, all of my time, like, being a tennis player just hitting back rumors about myself. I won't do it. I went through a phase this time last year, actually, where, like, I really felt like I just needed to constantly be defending myself and constantly be explaining myself and this year was such an eye-opener in, like, I just don't have the time to explain everything to people. I don't have the time to, and I shouldn't have to. Nobody should have to. Nobody should have to feel like they have to constantly explain themselves. I feel this way a lot about family too. I feel like a lot of times family expects you to just, like, say everything. And if you don't, especially with extended families, and if you don't, it's like the rumors. The rumors of what's actually going on because you never fully explained it. Even when I was doing my internship last year, a lot of my kids struggled so heavily because they were like, well, there's all these, my family or my friends are starting these rumors, but I don't want to tell people, like, what's going on in my life. I don't want to explain this to them. And everything would be explained away if I just did, but I don't want to. I'm not ready to do that yet. And I would be able to so easily tell my kids, well, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to tell anyone anything. But then I'm sitting here online being like, I have to address this. I have to address every little rumor about me. And it's like, no, I don't have time for it and I'm not going to do it. Because what I realized this year, especially with just, like, everything that's happened to me this year, is you can explain everything as perfectly as you can. You can give your side of everything as perfectly as you possibly can, like wrapped up in a nice little bow, the whole thing. You can say everything exactly how it happened, and there are always going to be people that are going to twist it and think you're an evil person anyway, or not believe you, or just try to stir shit up anyway. So I don't have time for it. I don't have time to address every rumor about myself. I don't have time for over-explaining situations in my life. What I do choose to talk about is what I choose to talk about, and what I don't, I don't. And that's that on that. I'd like to end this on a positive note because this was kind of negative video. Definitely got a little therapy sessionist. Something I do have time for is to thank each and every one of you. This year has been probably one of the best years of my life career. I don't like to call YouTube my career, but the best years of my life YouTube wise. It was the best year of my life ever doing this channel. Like, the growth was insane, the views were insane, everything was just out of this world insane. Never what I would have ever expected. So in that aspect, this has been one of the best years of my life, but I'm also combating it being one of the worst years of my life, because 2020 as a year offline was one of the worst years of my life. It was horrible. It was like just awful. I mean, I don't want to get too into it because I'm not trying to be like depressing, but it was one of the worst years of my life. And I think had I not had this channel and this community and all of this, I think if I hadn't have had this, I don't know if I would have like gotten through the year emotionally. Like, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have this channel and I didn't have this kind of distraction from life. I know a lot of people are always like, oh, you work so hard, you post so much content. I'm like, I'm not gonna belittle myself and say I don't, but I do it for selfish reasons too, because creating content is one of my absolute favorite things to do. It's my distraction. It's my way to kind of get away from my anxieties. It's like, filming is like one of the only times I don't feel anxious in my life, and editing and like doing all of that is like one of the very few times I don't feel anxiety. So getting to do this at like full time and getting to like really commit to this and seeing all of the work that I put into it pay off is something I can't even thank you guys enough for. So I do have time and I will always have time to say thank you for one of the best years of YouTube I've ever had. And I cannot wait to see what 2021 brings. I already have a few surprises in store for 2021, so that I'm very excited about. So we'll see how that goes. But thank you so much to Amanda for doing this collab with me. And thank you if you listened to all of my ramblings. I love you guys so much. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below, along with links and information to the Georgia Senate runoff races that are happening on January 5th. Super important. Stay informed, stay involved. I love you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow for Glow Miss Day 30. Bye!